Hey, it's News from Heaven. Today we're looking at how heaven's light teaches your mind how to cleanse your heart, aka wisdom strikes back. If you watched our last episode, we're all talking a big game, trash talking wisdom, where we were asserting that it's your love that makes you who you are, and that really what you love in the end will rearrange what you know so that it will create a picture of the world that favors who we really love and what we are. But in this episode, we're seeing how the way that we change who we are, the way that we continue to improve our motivations, which is the essential core of who we are, is through wisdom, is through the mind, and through wisdom's ability to get out a little ahead of ourselves. Sure, that can be not a good thing at times, but when we get this, you have this cognitive dissonance sometimes, right, where you're, I know that I should be more like this, but I just can't. That's actually good, because it's us looking ahead and being able to start to set goals for ourselves that are out ahead of where our will even is. That's what wisdom has some real benefits to it, and it can pull us through there. And it's crucial because as we're navigating the mental weather, right, and we have this confusing condition we exist in where there's negativity and positivity in here, and we're just trying to figure out how do I get out of the maze of the mind? Where am I going? Wisdom can set this beacon here. It can actually sort of pop out around and look around the clouds, access heaven, even when the heart is weighed down with this. And so this then, if we know how, can come back and actually bring some UV rays in here to cleanse all this stuff. This is, again, in Divine Love and Wisdom. We're down now to 419. Download for free and read along if you'd like. If they are raised up together, love or volition is cleansed by wisdom in our discernment. Okay, so we talked before about the need or the preeminence of what's in the heart. The heart eventually will get its way. However, the heart needs wisdom, because without wisdom, pulling or doing this cleaning work, we're not going to be able to improve. You can't improve from the same place that you have the problem with in the first place. Wisdom is like that ability to let outside light in. From birth, and this should not offend anyone, all we love is ourselves and the world. You have a natural tendency to be ego-driven and materialistic. Okay, I said it. It's true, though. We all have that side to us, because this is all that comes into our view. That's just, of course, that's how you are, especially when you're younger. So this is all we think about. How often do we think about ourselves? This love is on the earthly, physical level. We may call it materialistic. Not only that, what's so bad about that? Isn't it good? Sure, it's fine, but here's the issue with that mindset. This love has become defiled by its separation from heavenly love in our parents. And that is essentially saying, thanks, Mom and Dad, you gave me this defiled heart and mind. But what he means there is you're talking about the hereditary chain of the human race. Well, I guess this would be backwards, but we'll say this is going back into history here, that every negative thing that people live and love and make part of their spirit is passed on to the next generation, kind of like genetic mutations and things are passed along physically, so that this is why we start with this heavy caseload where we have this love for ourselves and love for the world inside of us. It's all right. It's something we can grow beyond. And it's not really just our parents. It's generations going back and back. And we can be a link in this chain that kind of turns things the other way. But what's so bad about it, it's not that caring about yourself and caring about materialistic stuff is an abomination, and that it can't exist in a heavenly person, or that it's something we should expect to be completely expunged from our experience. No, it's just bad because it's separated from heavenly love. Heavenly love is caring about how other people are, as well as just how you are. Heavenly love is also guided by this wisdom or understanding of what is really good for us and what is not good, and what is really good for the human race and not good for the human race. And it's this effort through the best wisdom that we have to make a happy life for everyone, and happy in the kinds of things that will lead them to God and to heaven, which is the only permanent joy. So that's the guiding principle. That is this true altruism. And when you have your concern for yourself and your self-image and your standing and the things you want, when that is separate from heavenly love, then you get to the point where, I would get this thing that I want regardless of how it affects you. Or if I happen to notice, I enjoy making fun of people or belittling people or doing something harmful to people, well, there's the people, and then there's that it's fun. I'll choose that it's fun because there's no heavenly love that reminds us, wait, that's not good. That's not good to do to those people. That's the problem that we face. We've got this tendency that the human race struggles with to worship solely love of what's ours and love of gratification. So what can we do about it? That's a problem. That's a problem because that is the only thing that's actually really toxic to us long term, because that is what destroys our ability to be in heaven and to go to heaven. It's a problem. We got to clean it out. Wisdom to the rescue. This love cannot be separated from its impurity unless we have the ability to lift our discernment into heaven's light and see how we need to live in order to have our love raised up into wisdom along with our discernment. Because when you're in a sphere, let's say you're here, and let's say you've got your feelings and their justifications. This is how I am right now. Okay? And there's all kinds of stuff in here. Generally, where we've landed, we feel like, well, I'm good. This is good because there's plenty of things that are not harmful that we're doing, but everything that is harmful, let's say we are treating somebody here in an improper manner, what we probably have is some kind of justification. Or we say, well, they deserve it, or I'm not thinking about it, whatever it is, or whatever lifestyle choice we're making that is harmful, we have some reason why it's okay. You just go find almost anybody who's doing something that you can see as a third party, that's really hurting people, that is a real problem. They have some reason why, no, this is fine, this is okay. There's some principle they're using. So we're all trapped in this, in serious ways, but also in trivial ways. We have blind spots. Everybody's got blind spots. You don't realize, this is why in companies they'll do like a 360 review where you're sitting here and you're thinking, well, I'm doing great at everything. And they go talk to everyone you interact with, the people that are below you in the organization, the people that are above you in the organization, the customer, whatever it is. And you start asking them, what's this person really like to be with? And a lot of times you don't know it because as far as our love, Swedenborg says, makes whatever we love seem good. Whatever brings us pleasure seems good because we think we have some reasons for it and we want to defend that. But what wisdom can do, if we do a thought experiment to say, okay, I am going to try to step outside myself, walk in somebody else's shoes. That's this breaking through and seeing from a higher perspective, seeing ourself from above. And in there, we can't it's very difficult to change habits and behaviors and things that you enjoy and deep-rooted stuff, right? But from here, we can at least identify, this and this, I don't want to be doing that. And that is not only potentially harming people, but it's also harming our ability. It is blocking what the Lord is trying to bring in as well. So it's just a negative. And so wisdom is going to let us see where that is. And you could never do it. Swedenborg talks about when we're in any kind of evil, we absolutely, with our volition side, can't see anything wrong with it. So it's only through the discernment that we can get this amazing gift, which it might sound like, oh great, this guy's moralizing and telling me this is bad. But it's an amazing gift, because don't you want to identify the source of the problem? This whole world that we're in here, where we're confused and we're upset, all unrest is from evil and falsity. All unrest is from evil and falsity. That's a quote. And that means everything that is a problem in our life, whether it's we feel like other people are causing problems for us or our own mindset, whatever it is, it's all because there is evil and falsity in the system. So even though it seems like some of it's helping us, some of it, that when we can clear that out and get actual peace, actual love and joy from the Lord, that is the only state of real lasting happiness. That's the only way we can really be rescued from this whole mess we find ourselves in. So you'd really want to know what's stepping back and saying, what's the underlying cause of all this trouble that we have? That's why we want to go and read things like this. It is through discernment that our love sees, that we in fact see which evils are defiling and polluting our love. That our love is actually something noble. If you think of, okay, these negative things about it aren't it, but they are polluting it. So that means what it is must be, in its essence, if it were that pollution was removed, it's from the Lord. It is this neighborly, heavenly love. And we hear, it's like we've been able to develop. Think about back when people were just starting to invent all these chemicals and like DDT and these sorts of things. And they're like, okay, this is great. Let's just go and do everything with all this stuff. Let's put asbestos in every house. Let's go for it. We found this cool stuff. It was only as we began to be able to develop the right tests that we could understand, oh, this is causing a huge problem. We've got to stop this right now. This is what we're doing spiritually. We are learning how to test where is there spiritual asbestos in your attic. This also enables us to see if we resolutely abstain from those evils as sins, we love the opposites of those evils, which are all heavenly. You ever feel like, man, I wish that maybe you don't. I don't. Sometimes though, you do. If you look inside yourself and you're trying to catalog, what am I really moved by? What kind of person am I? There's certain things there's times when I see people really caring about other people in genuine ways, in areas where I just, oh well, I don't really care what's going on with that person or their life, and I do find myself like, I wish I feel like I should in this moment maybe be moved by that. Or I wish I felt more affection in this situation, that situation. What we can do is realize as we remove this negative stuff from ourselves, not just we won't do the negative stuff, but the opposite starts to come flowing in. That we can gain this love for everything that is heavenly. And abstain from those as sins, which is a great old Christian sounding term. What that means is we abstain, we don't do those things not because we get in trouble or because we were told, but eventually because we don't like what they are. And it doesn't start like that. But as you more and more, this is how it works. Because, okay, let's say this is evil 1, this is evil 2. And initially we just love them and they're just part of what we do. But then we start to understand through our discernment, hey, maybe this isn't so great. The more that we continue to consult this wisdom, maybe we're going and learning about the impact things like this really have on the people that are harmed by them. The more we educate ourselves, the more we distance ourselves through this wisdom which can transcend it, the more we actually start to, from the inside, realize not just, okay, I won't, but I don't want to support that. Because there's plenty of negative things that you don't like at all, that we don't like at all, that I don't like at all. There's plenty of things that I just feel like, oh, I can't believe people do that. That's just so wrong, or I would never do that, and I don't even have any inclination to doing that, and whenever I see it, I want to condemn it in some kind of way. So you certainly can, but there's other ones that are closer to home that we think, well, I need to do this, but we eventually gain the same feeling of, why would you even, about this stuff. That, and when we start to get that, which doesn't come but through much work, then you really start to get to feel the opposite. And I would say you feel the opposite more strongly if you've been through it. just think about people who have been down some kind of road, right? If you're going to try to talk to a group of kids that you think are at risk to develop some kind of criminal lifestyle, right? Who do you get to come talk to them? You get somebody who's been down that road and who has felt the negative effects in it, understand it, lived it, and now has realized this is not what I want to do, and I now have an aversion to the stuff that was causing that, because I saw the destruction in other people, I saw the destruction in myself. That's the person who can reach those people and actually has a greater understanding of it. So I really feel like whatever stuff we do come into contact with that we have to push out, you're a more useful tool then in the hands of divine providence to stop that evil. You are an antibody to that because you've been through it. So in that way, we can be excited about these things and feel like, wow, I am really going to be able to help the human race resist this stuff. We also see the means by which we can resolutely abstain from those evils as sins. So initially we don't, but as we resist because they're not right, as we get this heavenly stuff coming in, we get to understand, oh, this is how you stop that. Because you don't know, how do you stop wanting something? How do you stop reacting like something? Gradually, wisdom equips us with the means. Love sees all this. That is, we see all this by using our ability to lift our discernment into heaven's light, which gives us wisdom. Then to the extent that love puts heaven first and the world second, and at the same time putting the Lord first and ourselves second, love is cleansed of its pollutants and purified. Heaven first, the world second. The Lord first, ourselves second. Not that ourselves don't exist. Not that the world, and we could dig into what those terms mean, doesn't exist. It just got to be second. And this is not some abstract theological idea here. Put the Lord first and ourselves second. All that means is I have my personal interests, but then there is the interests of the human race and the interest of what's good for everyone. And to say, well, I'm going to go do this thing that will cause harm to many people, but it will help me out, just to know, wait. You can't do that. You can't put yourself, what if everybody else did that? Put themselves first and put the world, the rest of the human race, and what's good and true second. You have to have this principle of we're in this together first, and then I'm here second. That's it. It's not that. This is something that everybody preaches in one form or another. And actually, that ends up being better for us. The Lord is not interested in, okay, you sacrifice your well-being for the whole. In the mode where we're thinking about the whole, that is better for our well-being. Then the marriage takes place. Oh, wait. Don't get ahead of yourself here. It is to that extent lifted into heaven's warmth and united to the light of heaven that surrounds discernment. Then the marriage takes place. That is called the marriage of the good and the true. The marriage of love and wisdom. And why does he keep talking about it like a marriage? There's a really cool illustration of that coming up. Anyone can grasp mentally and see rationally that to the extent that we resolutely abstain from theft and cheating, let's get some examples. We love honesty, integrity, and justice. Okay, so there's the negative state, and here's the good. When you're talking about what's loving the Lord is loving honesty. Just think about honesty in abstract, and then think about the instances when you've seen honesty, and like what value there is in honesty. Integrity. When have you really admired somebody who acts in integrity? The thing of integrity, justice, what is fair and right. Those things, when you say love the Lord, it's loving those things. And can you see putting those things in front of self-interest? Then it's starting to crystallize. Okay, I can see putting integrity ahead of self-interest. That doesn't sound radical. That sounds good. To the extent that we resolutely abstain from vengefulness and hatred, we love our neighbor. To the extent that we resolutely abstain from adultery, we love chastity, and so on. However, hardly anyone knows what is heavenly and divine about honesty, integrity, justice, love for our neighbor, chastity, and the other desires of heavenly love until their opposites have been removed. So you can have a part of your mind that says, "What? All that stuff is nothing." Really, you don't get it until you are living it to an extent. I'm thinking way, way back to a very old video we have on this channel with a guy named Peter Rhodes, who was a parole officer for a while and worked with a lot of people who had substance abuse issues. And he was talking about how when they get to a point where the addiction has totally overcome their life, and then they're getting sober, and he's talking to them and he's saying, "What did you do last night?" And they're like, "I did nothing. I was there sitting around with my family watching TV." And to the old mindset of theirs, it's like, what's good about that? That's nothing. That's not fun. But to where they are now, it's like, this is so amazing that I could just be in integrity in this moment. So they are seeing the value of that in a new way. It happens with everything. As we're getting all this disruption from the COVID epidemic, suddenly just the little things of like, we can, we're healthy today. We've got some food. Those things, suddenly you understand the value of them when you didn't have it before. So it equips you with this love that was there, but it was hidden. Once their opposites have been removed, we're involved in them. So we recognize and see them from the inside. Until that happens, there's a kind of veil in the way. It does let a little of heaven's light reach our love, but since that love does not love wisdom, its spouse, to that extent, it does not accept the light. Okay, so here you're starting to get to the marriage of love and wisdom. The two, Swedenborg talks about a marriage in everything. That we have love in us and we have wisdom in us, and that they have to love each other and work like a functional marriage. That wisdom can rise up and see something that's true and try to bring it back in. But if love does not value wisdom as an equal partner in this marriage, then look what happens. It doesn't accept it. It says, listen, what I don't want is a marriage. What I want is me to control you and get whatever I want. And then it doesn't accept that wisdom, which is the crucial thing, the light, which is a crucial thing that wisdom can bring into the marriage. It actually criticizes it severely and finds fault with it when it comes back down from its height. So I don't care about that. That's stupid. Don't even bring that in here. On the smallest level, when that marriage is a dysfunctional marriage, it can't work the way it's supposed to, which the function of these two is supposed to be to bring us out of where we are, out of hell, into heaven. Though the light is still attractive to love, because wisdom in our discernment can be a tool that helps gain us respect, praise, and profit. So if over here there's some teaching that's going to lead us to heaven, but this heart isn't listening and just saying, look, all I want is to go down into hell, which is just loving respect, praise, and profit without caring about the human race, then anything wisdom brings in just gets brought down here and drags us further in. So this is why a dysfunction of the marriage on this littlest level ruins the whole thing. Then, however, we are putting ourselves in the world first and the Lord in heaven second. And what we put second is loved only as long as it is useful to us. So it's not real love. It's not really valuing the partner. It's just valuing what the partner can do for you. If it's not useful, we renounce and reject it after death, if not before. Right? That eventually, see the last episode, anything we have in our minds, if we don't come to love it, we lose it. This illustrates the truth that love or volition is cleansed in our discernment if they are raised up together. So basically, your heart and mind are trying to make this work. I mean, the Lord is trying to use your heart and mind to bring you into heaven. And the only way that can happen is if we're on board with both. We have to be willing to go out and try to think and learn principles and bring them back and have the will part of us want to try to live by these and be willing to listen to criticism. That if we step outside ourselves to say, what are really potentially some areas I could improve, if we're willing to say, okay, I'm listening, and I'm willing to give that a go, that's when the partnership is working. And that's when we can have the two raised up together. That's what the raising up means. That they're both, what is being raised up? They're both, in their own way, looking to the Lord. That we are, with both the heart and mind, trying to say, okay, in trying, it's a difficult thing, but okay, let me try to look up beyond the clouds, because what I really want is the light and warmth of heaven, which is the destiny of the heart and mind in us, is to be a receptacle for those things. And that's the news from heaven. How'd you like it? What did it do for you? Leave a comment. Please, we'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe. Hope that you can take this out and spread that love and wisdom, out to other people. Go out there, find out what is heaven trying to say about our situation. How can we follow it? Take little steps and joyfully continue to bring more and more of this divine love and wisdom into our hearts and minds, and through that into the world. Thanks for hanging out. That was fun. See ya.